Check one, 1, 2. 1, 2, check, check. Check, 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 check. Check 1, 1, 2. 1, 2, check, check, good. All right, well, good morning, everybody. Why don't we go get started? It is now about 9:05. So, thank you guys for being here. I apologize. Monday, I was a little bit under the weather, still kind of recovering from that. When you have 6 kids, you get everything. And so that's kind of where I'm at, but good to see you guys here. So Ignite is our foundational course, and I'm glad that you're here with us in this. Because the truth is, if you're here for every session, if you do everything that we ask you to do, by the end of these 6 weeks, you should have business in your pipeline. Just statistically speaking, I know that 6% of the population is going to move any given year, right? If you're talking to 10 people a day, right, and then you're doing that, you're going to talk to what, like 50 people a week, right? And you just keep adding up the numbers, comes out to like 18 leads like pretty quick. I mean, so what we saw last time was the people who did the work got business. We had about 6 escrows in our last Ignite session. So I'm excited for you to be part of this because this is the fastest way for you to get into business, into production, and then to stay in production. There are a lot of real estate agents who get their license and that's the end of it, right? They don't actually sell real estate. In fact, the majority of real estate agents will never sell a property, the majority of licensees. We want you to be those who go out and have actual careers, and that's what Ignite is going to teach you. The other thing that we're going to teach you that a lot of companies won't is how to be a business person. Because it's not enough to just sell real estate. It's not enough to just be able to go get the next deal. No one wants to live in that check-to-check thing, right? We want you to have such a business that you're running a business like a business person. So that means you're going to have a business plan that you're going to execute every year, that you're going to be checking in on regularly, so that your success isn't a, I hope it happens, it's going to happen, and these are the steps I'm going to take to get there. So I'm excited to start with you. Do me a favor, this is a brand new group, a lot of faces I've never seen before. Why don't you guys take a second, look around the room, go ahead and introduce yourselves to each other. You can get up, you can move around, say hi, say who you are, say when you got your license, et cetera, et cetera.
Kristen, good, how are you? Really? Oh, yeah. Last time. Yes.
Awesome. Good. Noreen, nice to meet you. Noreen, pleasure. Hi. I am Liz Dan.
Hi, Kristen.
I'm just nice to meet you. Good? Yeah, I did it. Oh, you did? Yeah. Emily and Rachel, yeah. They're nice.
I got one, that's the last one.
Noreen. Yeah. Hi. Noreen, nice to meet you. Noreen. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
All right, well, judging by the fact that the room got quiet, I guess you're done. Good. All right. Now, if you're like me, you've already forgotten the names of the people you met. That's okay. It happens. But what I want to just kind of emphasize is that as you're going on this journey, you're not doing it alone. And that's another unique proposition about Keller Williams. We believe that truly teamwork, everyone, together, everyone achieves more. And so as you look around the room, what you're going to be doing and what you're going to be seeing is people who are changing, people who are becoming something new. And you're not on that journey alone. And so when you're hitting a wall, guess what? Other people who are in that with you, who are you along that way. Like what we want in this community is that you guys achieve together. That at the end of the year, and 12 months from now, we look back at you as cappers and you say, we got there because when I was in my low point, I went and talked to Tyrone and he shared with me what he'd been through, right? And then when I got my first listing, we all celebrated all of that, right? Because this is not, you're independent contractors, but it doesn't mean you're lone wolves. And that lone wolf metaphor is one that we hold up in our culture as the lone wolf, right? He's a lone wolf, he's a loner. The lone wolf dies, right? If you're a wolf and you get cast out from the pack, it's a death sentence, right? You don't want to be the lone wolf. You want to be with the pack. You want to be stronger because of the team. And so that's one of the things we want you to be investing in each other's success. The wonderful thing about this business is there's plenty of business for everyone, right? If you get a deal, that doesn't hurt me, right? You can't beat me. I want you to win too. Right? And so we're not competing with each other. You have vastly different spheres of influence. You're going to have different niches. You're going to have different ways you approach it. And there's plenty for all of you to succeed. And so we're excited to be doing that with you. Just to kind of give you a little sense of what it's going to look like over the next couple weeks, here is the training, here is the calendar as it sets out. On Mondays, we're going to be doing our learning systems. That's 2 hours of facilitated learning in here. That means I'm going to be instructing. Then we'll have 1 hour where you're going to be doing your success systems here at the Market Center, but you should be doing 2 hours of success systems every day. And I'll tell you what those success systems are in a little bit. Now, the worst thing you could do is think I only do my Ignite stuff when I show up on Monday or Thursday, right? If you're just showing up on Monday and Thursday, then you're not going to move the ball forward for your career. What you've got to start thinking is, I work in real estate every single day because I'm a real estate agent, right? I don't want you to be a real estate agent like most actors are actors. Most actors are waiters, right? We don't want you to be a waiter who has a real estate license. We want you to be a realtor. And the way you do that is you work every day. That's the way you get paid. And the success systems are what's going to fill your pipeline. Now, as we travel through, we've got 4 modules we're going to be going through in this Ignite series. First is the real estate expert. And I just want to point out, even now at this point, if you just got your license, you're more of an expert than the general population. If you've only done 1 transaction, you are way more of an expert than the general population. And if you've done 2 or 3 at this point, you are absolutely an expert, because most people will only sell a home once every 7 years, right? Every 7 years, they look at those contracts. You're going to be looking at them every single day. And so I want you to start thinking of yourself as, I am an expert in real estate. I have knowledge that the general population doesn't have. And I can grow in that expertise, but even now, I'm an expert. I have that knowledge. I have greater knowledge than the general population. So that's our first module. Our second module is lead generation. The primary job of a real estate agent is to generate leads, because without leads, the rest of it doesn't matter. You can be the best person at contracts negotiation ever, but if you don't have anything to negotiate for, what's the point? And then we're going to be doing lead follow-up, because generating the leads, I'll be honest, isn't as hard as you would think. But following up on those leads, that takes systems and that takes discipline. And then our final will be going through the transaction. We'll be giving you all of that over the next couple weeks. So today, we're going to be talking about sparking your career and then embracing your job, really getting the nitty-gritty of what a real estate agent does every single day. Today's agenda, and this is actually a little bit, we've got a little bit more than this, because one of the things we decided in presenting Ignite is we wanted to get you through it quickly, and so we've condensed it a little bit. We've merged some sessions. So typically, Spark Your Career and Embrace Your Job are 2 different sessions. Today, there'll be 1, and hopefully we can get through all that data. Anyone can do it. Not everyone will. Will you? You know, I mentioned I have 6 children. It's far too many. Every single one wanted to ride a bike at some point until they got on a bike, right? And then they got on the bike and they thought, I don't ever want to do this. This is scary. I don't like this. I'm just not the kind of person who rides a bike. I remember one of my kids saying that. He's going to be a lawyer someday. There are people who will come into this industry and they want it. You got your license because you wanted what real estate has to offer. You wanted that success. We're going to challenge you now to do things that feel unnatural. Now, you're going to get on the bike, and when you get on the bike, you're going to realize I could fall off the bike. I could make some mistakes. I might look silly. Okay, the truth is you're going to be fine. But don't be the person who says, I'm not the kind of person who does X, right? I'm going to tell you to work in your database. And you're going to say, oh, but Chris, I'm not the kind of person who's... No, you are. You are. You just don't know that yet. You don't have the right to say I'm not the kind of person who does X until you've done it for about 6 months, right? Because you don't know yet, right? I'm not the kind of person who does physics. I'm not, because I've never taken a class in physics. But you know, if I did, I probably would be, right? So this is the idea. We want to suspend all of that, all of our sort of, I can't do that because, or I can't do this, or people are going to think I'm that. Just throw all that out the window, because what this course is about is becoming something new. You're becoming a realtor. You're becoming the professional of choice. So throw out all of those sort of I won't because we're going to teach you how to. And the truth of the matter is, the only way to be good at something is to be bad at it, right? The only way you're ever going to be good at something is by failing. That's it, right? If you're not willing to be bad, you can't be good. And so we want to teach you how to be excellent. So that's one of the things we're going to say. You guys are reading the quote, anyone can do it, not everyone will you? What does that make you think of? Anybody want to give their response to that quote?
Just makes me think about how it's very achievable, but not everyone has the want to actually get it. Like maybe everyone dreams of wanting it, but they won't take the steps to actually get it. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Commitment.
Yeah.
You gotta commit yourself, or you can't realize the results if you don't commit to the work.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. What else?
Are you talking about the quote that's on?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think with being in real estate, everyone wants to say, oh, I'm gonna get my real estate license. Like everyone says it, right?
Yeah.
Until you actually get it, and then you do, and then you're like, okay, this isn't as easy as I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
And so lucky for me, I was with Suzanne from the beginning. So, but what I think of, if I didn't have like a mentor or anyone, I don't think I would have been able to succeed really. So I think having a mentor is super important.
Yeah. Having a mentor, having accountability,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're 72% more likely to achieve a goal if you have someone you've told that goal and you've given them permission to hold you accountable. And what that is you're saying, I'm committed to this. I want you to keep me in check, right? And so absolutely, having that support around you is important, but that's what you guys can be for each other in this class too. Any other thoughts on this before we move on? You know, the thing I always like to say is real estate success is not sexy. It's actually pretty boring, right? It's actually just doing the daily tasks over and over again. It's not a reality show, right? If your business is exciting, you're doing it wrong, right? Running a Chick-fil-A is not exciting, but it's very lucrative. Why? Because they have a business plan, and they just run that business plan every day. What we're going to do in real estate is we're going to develop the business plan, the strategies, the daily activities. That if you do them every day, then you have consistent business. And consistency is fantastic. So we're going to work towards that. Cool. And so the 6 personal perspectives we're going to be revisiting over and over and over again. So Gary looked out and he said, what's different in the people who achieve like at high levels, right? What makes them different? And what they found is people who achieve at a high level have committed to these perspectives. So number 1, they commit to self-mastery. What does self-mastery mean? Anybody?
Mastering something?
Yeah?
Be the best.
Hmm?
Be the best.
Be the best, sure.
I look at it as like self-discipline, knowing yourself, knowing your strengths, your weaknesses.
Yep. Yeah. Self-mastery is knowing me. It's knowing, it's being able to make myself do the things I don't want to do when I need to do them, right? I'm committing to that, to being able to run this machine, right? Committing to the 80-20 principle. Anybody know what the 80-20 principle is? Also the Pareto principle. This is fantastic. I can't remember his name, but an Italian economist they looked at land holdings, right? And he saw that 20% of the people held 80% of the land, right? And they looked at that and he started looking at other things. And what he basically found was a universal rule that about 20% of the work gets 80% of the production, right? And so that, so committing to the 80-20 rule is saying, what is the one thing such that by doing it, everything else becomes easy or unnecessary? What is the thing that I need to focus on that has the biggest impact, right? It's not majoring in minor things. It's saying, what do I need to do today? What are the 20% of the things that I need to do today that have the big impact in my business? And so in real estate, that's going to be committing to lead generation is absolutely part of that, right? But people who have mastered the 6 personal perspectives are focused on what moves the ball forward, right? They don't spin their wheels worrying about the other things. They just do the next thing that moves the ball forward. Moving from E to P. This one is moving from entrepreneurial to purposeful. Now, entrepreneurial is not a negative thing, but in this perspective, what it's saying is, when we have that entrepreneurial mindset, we tend to have that mindset, oh, I'm the guy who's going to do everything, right? I'm starting the business, I do everything. And that is how you start a business, right? At this point, you've got no employees. You've got nothing to leverage. If you need your website done, you're probably going to be the one working on it. If you're going to get your leads, you're going to be the one go out and qualify them. If you're going to go on your appointments, you have to do it. You're going to show the homes, you're going to show it. But as your business grows, you've got to be committed to moving from, I'm the chief cook and bottle washer, to, What can I leverage out so I can stay committed to my 80-20? So at some point, your business is going to grow to such a rate that it doesn't make sense for you to go show houses anymore. And so you're going to bring on a showing assistant. And that showing assistant's going to show houses. You're going to pay them a little bit of money, but you're going to get more time to do the things that bring in that money, right? You're going to get in your business, and you're going to say, all right, I'm going to be entrepreneurial, I'm going to be purposeful, so I'm not going to do all of my own files because that's a waste of my time. I could pay somebody else to do that, so I could spend my time doing the things that are going to bring in more money. That's moving from E to P. When we're in that E mindset, we have to hold on to everything, and then we cannot leverage to grow, right? And so moving from E to P is important. Making being learning-based the foundation of your action plan. I love Tanya Bambrick, one of our mega agents out of Norco. Tanya will tell you she's taken career visioning, I think, 6 times. Career visioning is the how you hire people program, right? Tanya makes she grosses close to $1 million a year, right? She had over 50 units last year. But she's committed to learning, right? And I love that. Right? That is definitely, I have a lot of executives in my life, a lot of CEOs, people who run large corporations. You know what I can find in every single one of them? They've got a reading list. Every single one of them, I can ask them, what are you reading right now? And they're going to tell me, right? Every single one of them, I just go through and I collect books from what they do because the people who achieve never stop learning. And so we're going to continue to do that. And removing your limiting beliefs, we talked about that in the beginning. Just put all those aside. If you want to achieve it, you can, right? The voice of negativity, the voice of doubt, just put that to the side and say, okay, how? Because achievers don't say, I can't because. They say, I will, and this is how, right? And that's the difference. And then being accountable. We talked about being accountable, right? Being accountable means letting other people know your goals. You're 72% more likely to achieve a goal if someone else has permission to keep you accountable. So we kind of ran through that without the slides, but like I said, knowing your goals, know your strengths and your weaknesses, know how to work with both your strengths and your weaknesses, right? Seek to master the necessary knowledge and skills and habits to reach your goals. Commit to the 80-20. Moving from E to P. And I love this idea of the purposeful approach because what you're going to see here is this is the way most people do it as well. They just kind of wing it, right? And you'll see this in the real estate industry all the time where people go, oh, you know what, my business is down, I'm just going to wing it. And they get to here by natural, they get their natural habits, they get to a level of achievement, but they can't break through it. And then they keep trying to do it on their own, resignation, greener pastures, they move, they try the next thing, they go send them mailers, I'll do this, and they hit that wall and they can't do it, right? Where purposeful means I'm focusing on what's important, I'm implementing models, right? I'm looking at what other people have done succeed, I'm applying those to my business, right? I'm running systems that are duplicatable and scalable, and then I'm breaking through that natural ceiling of achievement by doing things that are unnatural to me, right? So that's moving from E to P. Good. Good. And then making being learning-based foundation of your action plan. I'm neither especially clever nor especially gifted. I'm only very curious. Albert Einstein. Right. The key to this, and I say this all the time, if you want to play jazz, you have to learn how to play scales, right? If you want to learn to run a motion offense, you've got to learn how to dribble the ball, right? Like those are things you have to do. You have to learn the fundamentals in order to be the person who can improvise. And so we want to teach you are those fundamentals. And removing your limiting beliefs. Okay, unlimiting beliefs. When you unlimit your thinking, you unlimit your success. Limiting beliefs. I don't have enough time for training. I can't be successful in this market because. I can't devote 3 hours each day to lead generation because, right? Whereas unlimiting is the way I'm going to devote 3 hours a day to lead generation is X. Unlimiting is saying I have some challenges, but I'm going to succeed because this. Right? And you've all done this in your life. You've all had projects or things you had to get done and you didn't know how you're going to do it. And then you looked at your calendar and you made a plan and you just executed the plan, right? That's the mindset we want you to have. And then being accountable. Accountability. People who aren't accountability, they don't seek reality. Right? They want people to tell you all the time, oh, you're doing great, good job, we love you, it's so great. They don't want people to tell them, you know what, the reason it's not working is you're not working. Right? But accountable people want that. They want that awareness. Non-accountable people fight reality. Well, that's not the way it is. That's not the way I see it. Well, that's not the way I'm going to do it. Whereas accountable people say, this is the way it is, time to get moving, right? I see what's going on. People who aren't accountable blame. They project everybody. The reason they're failing is everybody else's fault, right? Accountable people say, you know what, I had a hand in this. If it's to be, it's up to me. What do I want? This is my responsibility. Accountable people find solutions, and they get on with it. All right. Ahas. Oh, I like that quote. Happiness is not an individual sport. All right.
Didn't he write a book?
Sean Acor, Happiness Advantage and Big Potential.
I saw
Yeah.
him speak.
Yeah, he was at Family Reunion 2 years ago.
Yep.
Phenomenal. Sean Acor, very, very good. In fact, if you're going to read a book, there's both of his, Happiness Advantage and Big Potential are good. I actually liked Big Potential a little bit more, but check those two out. Cool. Good. Any ahas from the 6 personal perspectives?
I mean, I've never thought about the E2P thing before.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems great, like as opposed to just winging it, struggling, like, that's basically what I've been doing, the E.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of it just going ups and downs, lots of limiting stuff and obstacles, and then just having that structure.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's a great takeaway. Applying models makes a huge difference. If you look at Anthony Robbins, who is kind of like the #1 success coach in the world, right? That's his whole thing. Just find the model and apply the model. That's it, right? And it works in any part of your life. If you want to be in good shape, get a workout plan, right? What is that? It's a model, right? Or get a diet. What's that? That's a model, right? If you want to be rich, just invest in an index fund over time, right? It's a model, right? Or invest in real estate. But you can find these models. You don't have to wing it. And when you find those, what you find out is what I want to achieve is not far away. It's not insurmountable. It's not I've got to be really creative. It's not I have to be the most talented person in the world. It's just I have to find what other people have done that works and I apply it. And that's it, right? Now, I might not be able to apply it to the same degree or to the same level as some of them, but I'll be infinitely more successful if I apply models than if I just sort of wing it myself. And what you'll find is most innovation in our world doesn't start from scratch. It starts based on the foundation of somebody else's model, right? And that's where we want to be. All right, so KW culture. We're going to kind of go through this one a little bit quick. One of the things and one of the powers, one of the unique benefits to you as a new agent at Keller Williams or as an emerging agent at Keller Williams is our incredible culture. Because we truly believe that the communities that support us, that enable us to have these lifestyles, we give back to those communities. And so you'll see we've got our market values, our mission values, beliefs, and purposes. We've got our Red Day. Red Day this year will be serving the Children's and Family Foundation with a huge fair out here in the parking lot. If you haven't got information on that, talk to Sam, talk to Ray Wright. We've got KW Cares, which is a nonprofit that's literally on the ground. It doesn't really matter where the disaster is in the world. If KW is there, we're usually the first people there. So when the war broke out in the Ukraine, KW International was there with KW Cares giving support. When they had hurricanes in the south, one of my buddies was there unloading trucks to help support people in the south. I don't know of any other company that does as much service as we do through our KW Cares and KW's Kids Can. Our diversity, equity, inclusion classes and courses, what we strive for is unparalleled, and we really truly seek to be that in the marketplace. So our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspective. Our mission, and I talked about this, we don't want to just teach you to sell real estate. We want you to have a career worth having, a business worth owning, lives worth living, right? Experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. We want you to build something bigger than you, right? We want you to be able to build something that leaves a legacy for the people who come after you, right? That's powerful. That's really incredibly powerful. I'm not interested in you just doing a deal here or there. I want you to start building your future, and a future that's going to take care of you and whoever else for as long as you need it to. Our belief system. We go over this every single week at our team meeting, and sometimes it seems a little tedious. Why would we do that every single week? Because my belief is that this belief system is going to serve you in every area of your life. Our Y4C2Ts, right? That win-win or no deal. Integrity, do the right thing. Customers always come first, commitment in all things. Seek first to understand. Creativity, ideas before results. Teamwork, Together, everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, and success results through people. It's not just ideas on the wall, right? When you encounter a Keller Williams agent, you're encountering somebody who stands for something. And it's not just money, right? It's that we're making our communities better. We're making the people around us stronger because we're living out these ideals. And what I love about ideals is nobody lives up to them perfectly. Ideals, if ideals were easily achieved, they wouldn't be ideals, right? If you didn't look at these and say, I need to work on that. I'm not win-win or no deal in everything, right? I got to work on that. I really have to work on my commitment in all things. You know, if we really really apply that, then you're going to have something making you better, making you stronger, really without end. There's no end to it, right? So we want to continue to live that out. And then, of course, our Red Day initiatives, KW Cares, KW Kids Can. Any ahas on our culture? Any thoughts on our culture? Did you know that about Keller Williams? Yeah? No? Yeah? No? Okay.
The Y4Cs.
The Y4C2Ts?
Haven't seen that before.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either from my office.
You've never seen the Y4C2Ts before? Oh, wow.
Doesn't look familiar.
All right. Well, yeah, this is who we are. This is our belief system. And so you'll come into my office and you might have an issue with a client or with another agent. And I'm going to go back to the Y4C2Ts and I'm going to say, how can we find a win-win in this, right? You might have a negotiation with the market center and I'll say, how can we find a win-win, right? When we look at how we want our agents to be acting in the marketplace, that question of did you put the customer first is primary, right? They always come first. You know, if you want to succeed, yes, commitment in all things, right? I mean, so these things, it's like, it's not platitudes. And I love it because if I apply this in my relationship with my spouse, I'm going to be better off, right? If I apply it in my relationship with my kids, I'm going to be better off, right? These are things that are going to make me better as a person, not just a real estate agent. All right, cool. Any other ahas on the Y4C2Ts or our beliefs? All right, cool. All right, KW value, market center value. Just to let you kind of know, you're joining the largest real estate company in the world. You're part of something that is huge, that started as an experiment in a down market. I love this because Gary Keller got gutted in the 80s. He had a real estate company that was fairly successful in Austin, and a competitor opened up in town, and they gutted him. They took all his top producers and they took his staff. And he said, I don't ever want that to happen again. And so he went to the people who were left and he said, how can we create a company that nobody would ever want to leave? And Keller Williams, as you know it, was born out of that. It was born out of, how do we create a company that truly serves the agent, right? That the agent is a stakeholder. Whereas the agent's business grows, they benefit more, right? And we came up with Keller Williams. We came up with the ALC, the Agent Leadership Council. We came up with profit share. We came up with capped commissions and capped franchise fees, right? That all started with Gary Keller asking that question of his top people, how do we create a company that no one would ever want to leave? Now what happened is that was in a market, that was what people would consider a market where there's no business. It was a down market, right? Now we grew out of that market and you know what happened? The market crashed again, right? And we had the 90s. We continued to grow, right? The market continued. Guess what happened in the 2000s? The market crashed again and it crashed hard. You know what Keller Williams did? It became the largest real estate company in the world, right? So when other companies folded and closed their doors, we just continued to grow because our models and our systems work. Our models and our systems make you market-proof, right? And I love that. And so we're the top franchise for veterans in 2021. We're the top female-friendly company. We're one of the top 500 the top 500 franchises in 2022, World's Best Employer 2021, America's Best Customer Experience 2022, America's Best Employer for Women and New Grads, Best Employers for Diversity 2021, and more. 1 out of 5 homes was sold through a Keller Williams office in the United States, right, in last year. 1 out of 5 homes. We're the largest company by agent count and by sales volume. And so we focus on training and coaching, right? Because our goal is to develop people. We're a people development company that sells real estate. And so we've got local and regional training events. This is part of our local ones. But you'll also have the opportunity to go to things like BOLD, which will either be here in the Market Center or we went to Redlands last year. You'll have the opportunity to do things like our business planning clinic, which is hosted regionally. Last year, Heath Hilgenberg from the desert came out and he hosted it in Corona. Right? It was a fantastic class. You have the opportunity to do our Agent of Distinction class, which is a national class. It talks about equity and diversity, right? You have all of these opportunities, and if you go into KW Connect right now, you can find a limitless amount of resources and education right there at any time, 24 hours a day, right? And so I say that because it does not matter what you want to do, what you want to learn, what you want to get into, how you want to grow. We've got the roadmap to get you there. Okay, and then our value and our technology. If you haven't started playing with, who's in Command so far? Have you guys gotten your contacts in Command? All right, good. Okay, we need to. What you have in Command is Gary Keller and the researchers at Keller Williams, and we have a research department at Keller Williams. They went through and they looked at what does a millionaire real estate agent need to run his business. And they said, okay, well, they need a top-notch CRM, a contact relationship management software suite. So they built that in Command. That okay, well, they're definitely going to need something to manage their transactions, right, and check their pipeline. So they created opportunities in Command, right? Then they said, okay, well, they're definitely going to need automation. They're going to need some way to stay in contact, because in the modern world, you've got to keep emailing and texting and all those things, but you don't have time to think about and contact a database of 1,000 people, so they built campaigns, right? Smart plans. Then they thought, well, the modern world has social media, and we wanted to bring in leads and continue to build that database. So we wanted an easy platform for them to advertise that. So they built campaigns where you can advertise, and they created relationships with Facebook and Instagram so we can get priority on our advertising. So you can go right now to your database, and you can target your database on social media. So you're not just shotgun blasting out in the wind. You're targeting the people you want to. Right? They also said, you know, you have the need to make flyers for open houses, for those things, and so they built designs right into Command too. So you can do your social media posting, you can do your print, you can actually direct mail right from Command. They said, we're going to take everything you need, your consumer-facing website, your app that you can give your consumers, that's your personalized app where they can search for you, right? We're going to give that all to our agents. We're going to combine all that in one platform. We're going to give them to the lowest price possible. And you have that in Command. There's no other company that has a software suite like this that built it for agents by agents specifically to serve your needs. So it's incredibly powerful. If you're not using it, get into it. I mentioned the Command app. Not only is that a desktop app, but right now on your phones, I love this app. You can go on your Command app, boom, loads right up, and you can say, okay, I just talked to Christine at the soccer game, and she was coaching, and I'm going to make a note. Okay, boom, boom, boom. I can put that in right on my phone. If I want to call my contacts, I don't have to go on my computer to do it. I can do it right from my phone. I can actually call them from the Command app, and when I'm done, it prompts me to enter my notes, right? It's an incredibly valuable tool. If my clients are searching on the consumer app I gave them and they favorite a home, or they want to see it, they communicate with me, I get a notification on my phone through my Command app. So really, really powerful. And then the KW value, the KW app. I love this because if you go to Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com or any of these other sites, what's the product that they're selling on those sites? Do you know? How do they make their money?
The houses, agents.
You're the product they're selling. Anything that's free on the internet, you're the product, right? And so the way that Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com make their money is consumers go to the site, they click something, they enter the information, and then Zillow or Redfin or Realtor.com sells that information, right? Now, I don't know about you, but I don't like being a product. I don't like to wear logos on my clothes because, quite frankly, if I'm going to advertise, I think you should pay me. That's just kind of my opinion, right? So what you can go to your consumers and say is, listen, I don't know if you know this, but Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, the only reason they exist is to sell your information, right? I don't like, did you know that? Like, as you're searching there, you are the product that they're selling. I don't think that's fair. So what I want you to do is I want you to search using my site, right? I'm going to give you my app. I can text it to you right now. And guess what? I'm never going to sell your data, right? It's never going to happen. So that way you can search without worrying about somebody tracking you and watching you and trying to push you in and then selling your information to somebody who's buying you. I don't think you're a commodity, right? Boom, right there, totally free to you. So I love that app. Profit share and growth. Like I mentioned, we created a company that no one want to leave, or you're stakeholders in that company. And so that's our profit share system. And this is unique to Keller Williams that we tried revenue share, right? Why would revenue share not work? Why do you think that wouldn't work? Revenue is money comes in after you pay, before you pay your bills. Why does revenue share not work? Because you still have to pay your bills, right? Like it's, right? It makes the company insolvent. It doesn't work. It actually, it makes it kind of like a deck of cards, and you continually have to keep putting into the system in order to make it work. You become a recruiter. We don't want you to be a recruiter. Profit share allows you to share in the owner's profits. And so what that does is it holds the owners accountable to run solid, streamlined, dependable businesses, right? And so Keller Williams offices, we run on a fraction of the budget that most companies do. Why? Because we want to protect the profit, because our agents are invested in that profit. Our agents share in 50% of the profit of the company. That means when you sell a house, whatever profit this company gets from it, we share about 50% back into your profit share tree. You don't have to do anything to make that happen. Your tree doesn't have to do anything to make it. It's completely passive income. But what it does mean is me, as a team leader, and our OPs, we've got to make sure that this ship runs tight, right? Now, we're not just throwing money away, because profit is important to this company. We exist for that. And our agents as stakeholders deserve that sort of fiduciary relationship with us. So no legal risks, no down payment, no phone calls, right? You just get to share what you're learning at Keller Williams, and if people want to join and they name you as a sponsor, they go into your profit share tree. And now when we make profit from them, you share in that up to 7 levels. My buddy John Ray from Louisiana, because when you're from Louisiana, you need 3 names. John Ray Perkins. Right, John Ray's in Louisiana, and he's a good friend. He joined Keller Williams in 2019. And man, that guy just took off, and I loved seeing it. I was just so excited for him. And what he did is he just went out, he was just out there, like, I'm doing this, I'm excited about it. He shared his goals with everybody. He created a situation where everybody who knew John Ray felt like his success was their success. Now, I wasn't at Keller Williams in 2019. I was at a small boutique agency at 2019. But when I decided, you know what, I'm ready to do something different with my career, you know where I looked? Keller Williams. You know, I know why? John Ray, right? Because I saw the success he had. He wasn't selling me, he wasn't recruiting me, he was just sharing it, right? And so I called him and I said, buddy, how are you doing this? You did 36 units in your first year. What on earth did you do? He's like, I just did what they told me to do, right? And he did 50 his second year. He's just continued to have an incredible career, and he just is doing what they're telling him to do. So John Ray's my sponsor, and his sponsor is a guy named Wes. Because Wes knew John Ray when he was just a youth minister at the local church down there in Alexandria, right? And Wes said, you know, John Ray, you'd be great at this. And he said that for years and years and years. And one day, John Ray got to the point where he couldn't fix the truck, right? And he said, I got to do something new. I can't do this anymore. And he called Wes. He said, Wes, I'm ready. And that's it. And Wes is a sponsor. Right? I know these people. I've met them, right? This is my tree. And what's great about that is I can call Wes now, and I can say, hey, Wes, I need help with something. He's like, yeah, you're in my tree, man. I'd love to help you, right? I love that about Keller Williams. Our profit share makes us a company that's more interconnected, right? And it's not just in your tree, it's throughout the company, but I love that part of it. All right, resources. I'm just going to go through real quick here. So Keller Williams is a company of companies, KWX. We got Keller Mortgage, we got Keller Managed, we got Keller Covered, we have Keller Offers. We have Keller Williams and Keller Williams Worldwide. I don't know if you knew that. But right now, if you can go into your KW Connect, you can look at Keller Mortgage, and you can see what incentives they're offering your clients because you're a Keller Williams agent. I haven't checked in a second, but we used to give, I may still, cash back towards closing because you're a Keller Williams agent and they're a Keller Williams client, right? Through Keller Concierge, you can actually take out loans to rehab a property that are not paid off until the property sells, right? There's a lot of different programs at your feet. You don't have to use these, but they're there. Keller Covered is just an insurance market. You can go on, because home insurance is definitely one of those things, right? You have to buy it through the transaction. And so you can check all that there. What I love about it is all this does is it gives you credibility, right? You're not just some fly-by-night. There's a whole system, a whole ecosystem here for you. Cool. And then our communities. Keller Williams is a large company with a lot of different people interested in different things. And you may say, you know what, I want to get into commercial properties. Now, we don't do commercial in this office, but if you want to learn about it, you can learn about Keller Williams Commercial. If you want to do land, you can get into KW Land. You can join that community, or luxury, or military, or new homes, or sports and entertainment. I love this one. we have an entire division that's devoted to working with celebrities, right? And we do. I've talked to our director, our local rep for luxury, and we've talked about how she serves her clients, because I have somebody in my ecosystem who knows a lot of NBA players, right? And he wants to work with them. But you know what? He's not ready to, because an NBA player buys a home for $20 million. And that's a little bit different than selling a home for $500,000, right? And so we have an entire division that helps you to do it. And KW Young Professionals, we have some incredibly powerful young people building incredible legacies. Cool. All right, I'm moving through this pretty quick. All right. So, any ahas so far? Anything where your eyes opened a little bit? Do me a favor. Turn to the person next to you, the person behind you, the person around you, and just share one thing that stood out from the morning so far. On your mark, get set, go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. All right, you got about 1 minute left on that. All right, what you guys got? Any ahas from the activities? Yeah.
Well, writing this down made me realize another thing that I do want out of my life, which was I want to get to a certain point where I want to be able to purchase some of the things I need without having to worry about what else it's going to affect in my life,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. You know, it'd be nice if the dishwasher broke and you're like, oh, great, well, we're going to eat beans for the next 2 months. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I'd like to take my mom traveling before she's too old to do so.
absolutely. That's beautiful. Yeah. What else?
I want to help my kids buy houses.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's absolutely a thing. Yeah.
I own 2 now, but I want 6.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool. Yeah.
I want to help my partner open a sanctuary for animals.
Yeah. Nice. Very cool. What else? Yeah.
Pay off my daughter's car so she just got hit by a drunk driver.
Yeah. 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 See, you know, the thing about this job, the thing about any job, is there are days when you walk in and you don't want to do it, right? You can love it. I mean, I did voiceover work for a while, and it was fun. I just go out in the garage and read something, and they pay me. It was really cool. There are days I get a job, I'm like, man, I don't want to do that. I mean, it's stupid, right? We just get that way. What keeps you going is knowing what you're working for, right? And the closer you are to what you're working for, the more motivation it is to you, right? And it's good to go, oh, I'm working for this, I'm working for that. No, get specific about it. Set the numbers, know the goals, know how you're getting them, how you're progressing to it. And you're going to keep pushing and working. On those days when you wake up, you're like, man, I don't want to make another phone call. You go, yeah, but if I don't, Mom and I can't go to Paris, right? Right? Then I'm going to make that call, right? And so that's the thing we want to do. Money is good for the good that it can do. I mean, this is Keller Williams, right? I'm not a money person. I'm a mission person. Just kind of the way I'm born, the way I'm bred. But you know, if you don't have money, it's really hard to do the mission, right? So what's your mission? Stay close to that. It's what's going to be your fuel. As you go through Ignite, we're going to want you to be looking for your limiting beliefs, right? Looking for the ways you're limiting your own success and removing those barriers that you put in your way. So we want you to be especially aware of those limiting beliefs that can creep in, and if you're not careful, connect your goals to push through those activities. So anyway. To achieve success, you need motivation and inspiration for doing it, your big why. The big why is one of those things where it's like, well, why am I working? What's my goal? What's the thing? And I hate big whys because I never feel like my big why can be big enough. Right? I'm always like, well, what is my big why? And here's what I love, and here's what I would suggest. As you're thinking of the what am I working for, pick something. Right? It doesn't have to be perfect. Just pick something that's your North Star that you can start moving towards. It'll change from time to time. It'll get bigger than you thought it was. Your North Star might right now be like, my big why is that I don't have to worry about my car breaking down or buying groceries. That might be your big why right now. Trust me, it's going to get bigger, right? But pick whatever it is and stay close to it. You need to be motivated. You need to know what that is. So when we think about our big whys, think about what stirs your soul. What really inspires you, right? What's the thing that you get revved up about? And that's the why, right? And it's interesting that there are some people who sell a ton of real estate, right? They'd have massive businesses. You know what the big why is? Developing people. They just love building teams. They love watching people succeed. And that's what they do at a high level. And because they do that at a high level, other people achieve their dreams and they get to do what they love to do. That's their big why, right? Some people, their big why has nothing to do with real estate. It's serving vets. And so they go out and they buy and they rehab properties so that they can give them away to veterans through grant programs, right? That's their big why, right? I don't know what yours is, but I want you to just kind of spend some time thinking about that. What is it that motivates me? If you have a big why built around your passion, then follow the models you learn in this course, keep doing it, and you achieve it. And that's the thing that I really want to point out. I said this yesterday. You've got to commit to being excellent, right? The very best make a lot of money, right? And money's great for what it can do. But that big why gets bigger and bigger the more successful you get. Because you find yourself not working for the money is just a side effect, right? I'm working for the mission, right? But the way you achieve that is you apply the models that you learn in this class and you just continue to apply them over and over. So let's talk about money. Hey, Carissa, can you get me like a tissue?
Yeah.
No, I got plenty of cough drops. I am, I think 30% cough drops right now. Cool. Let's talk about money. So when you sell a home, you get GCI. That's gross commission income, right? Now that gross commission income is not 100% yours. So say you're selling a home, it's $600,000. There's about $15,000 of gross commission income in that at 2.5% to each side. Well, it'd be $30,000 total, but 15 to you, right? Or to your side. So out of that $30,000, half of it goes to the other agent typically, right? Now you don't have to do that. I've seen listings recently where our agents are taking 3%, and they're offering 2.5 to the other side. And that's fine, right? Because our agents are running 72 sold system, they've got a competitive advantage. They can point out and they can say that when we sell homes like this, we sell them for 8 to 12% higher than homes sold the traditional way. And that's worth something to you. So I get paid 3%. That's good. You're selling your value. But we offer a percentage of that to the other side in commission sharing, right? So that's half of the $30,000. That would leave about $15,000 left to your side. Now, you have your splits, right? So your market center is going to get a split from that. If you're mentoring, your mentor is going to get a split from that too, right? And so that goes out. And then you have any business expenses that you have. For most of you, your first business expenses are going to be something like a transaction coordinator. I do not ever want you to do a file without a transaction coordinator. It's your choice. You can choose heaven or hell, but you choose it, right? Like get a transaction coordinator, right? They're very good at their job, and I've done enough files by myself to never, ever, ever want to do that again or not wish it upon anybody else. But that's about $500, $400 and something, right? That you're going to get to help them help. You probably spent some money on flyers because when you got your listing, you were smart and you papered the neighborhood, you walked around, you knocked doors, you told people, and you might have spent some money on an advertising campaign on Facebook. Anyway, you had business expenses, so that takes a little chunk out. Then you've got taxes, because you're going to put money away for taxes, because nothing is constant like death and taxes. And then you have the money you take home, right? Now, we're looking at a millionaire real estate agent percentage. Your percentage is going to be a little bit higher, right? But the point is, we want you to think like a business, right? Your checking account is not your business account. Your gross commission is not your income. Your income is what comes after all of those expenses. Okay, so this is just an example. If you're going to net, bring home $100,000, and these are their numbers, not ours. Our numbers are a little bit better than these. But if you're going to net $100,000 and say your company dollar and royalty cap was $30,000, is your company, is that true? It's 22, and then 3,000 for royalties for 25 total, right? Okay, so you're a little bit better off. They're saying your business expenses were $50,000. I'm going to tell you right now, you probably do not need to spend $50,000 to make $100,000. That's way too much, personal opinion. Your gross commission income would be $180,000, right? And then your average commission they're saying is $9,000. Right now, our average commission is closer to 10. Go ahead and get out your calculators on your phone. You're going to learn a little real estate math right now. Let's say the average home price is about $550,000, and right now that is the segment of the market that's selling the fastest. That's the one that's selling the most consistently. About 50% of the homes in our market sold somewhere in that range, right? So that's huge. So $550,000, let's say that you're going to get 2.5% to your side, 5% total commission, right? Now you can set your commission at 7 You can set your commission at 8. It's whatever you can negotiate. But I'm going to say standard right now when I look at the MLS is around 2.5. Pardon me, is around 5, 2.5 to your side. Right? That's not set. There's no law that says you have to get 6 or you have to get this. That's a negotiation between you and your clients. But let's just say times 0.025. Boom. That's $13,750 of GCI. Right? So right now you're looking at that total gross commission, or your average commission would be $13,750. Right? Okay. So that's kind of the number we're working with there. So let's fill in your blanks. What is your net income goal? How much money do you want to walk away with to pay your bills, to pay your mortgage, to buy your house, to buy your car, those kind of things after your business expenses? What is your net income goal? Go ahead and write that down in the blank on your paper. You should have that on page something of your sheet. Anybody know what page? What's that? 1.117 or 1.17. Yes, okay, good. Okay, go ahead and fill that in. All right. What's your net income goal? Now, let me see if I can write this along. All right, anybody want to throw it out? Net income, the money you want to take home at the end of the year.
I had already put in 100,000 before you showed.
Sure, 100,000, that's fine. 100K. Good news is, for every agent with over 200 contacts in command, we're averaging about $119,000 of income. Right, so that's a very manageable thing. And to make $100,000 in net income in Southern California is way easier than it is in other parts of the country because our homes are just more expensive, right? So 100K. Now, what did we say our company dollar and royalty cap is? 25. Good, it's 25,000. So, or plus. Right, so right off the bat, you're going to need to make $125,000 to cover your company dollar and your royalty cap, right? All right, so that's just one part. Now, you're going to spend a little money on your business. They were going to spend $50,000 on their business. I think you could probably get away with less than that, I'm just going to say, particularly if you're going to shoot for $100,000. So I'm going to say let's spend, I don't know, let me see, 50, well, let's just spend $12,000. Well, is that true? Let me see. What did I say the average commission was? No, that wasn't. It was 13 something, right? Okay, so 125 divided by what? 13? 750. So it's about 9 transactions. Sorry, 9 times 495, 4,005. So let's just say for 9 transactions, I'm going to say 4,455. I'm going to call that TC, right? So that's going to be there. We're going to add that to it. What else? What other expenses do you think you've got?
Business card.
Business cards? Yeah, you can get those for free from vendors, so that's not the end of the world. What else? What's that? Marketing? Yeah, marketing, advertising, signs, those kind of things. So let's just say, I'm going to say $10,000. I'm just pulling it out of the air. Well, let's say 12. Why not? We're going to budget $1,000 a month for marketing for that kind of stuff. You also have you've got command, right? So the $600 are there. You've got your E&O insurance, right? So I think $12,000 is about right. You don't have to spend it all right now, right? But as the money's coming in, you're budgeting to do it, right? That's what I want to point out. So we got 10,000. So anyone want to add that up for me? 100, 1, 2, 3, plus 4,455, plus 25, 1, 2, 3, plus 12, 1, 2, 3. So we're looking at 141,455. Does that sound right? Yeah? So how much money do we need to earn to get to $100,000? 1,000, right? 1,000, okay, divided by, and we said the average commission was what? 13,750. So 10 deals. roughly 10 deals to get to $100,000. Just to point that out, that means you only need to work 10 months if you're going to sell one house a month. I'm not saying you only have to work that way, but does that make sense? Can you imagine any other industry where your goal was to not make money one month, right? So right now, you're saying if you just kind of have a mediocre year in that I didn't even sell a house every month, I just made 6 figures. Is there any other job in the world where you could do that? No, absolutely not. So that's the thing. Our goal then would be to sell consistently. Let's just shoot for 12 homes, one house a month, and then we're going to exceed it. We're actually going to be over that. So that's the kind of thing we want to think about. My annual transaction goal is 10 then to get to $100,000. That's how many homes I need to sell. Now, I just kind of want to do this, like if, so 1,000 people, 1, 2, 3, let's just say 500. 500 times 0.06, 30 potential sales in there. Right, because 6% of the population is going to move any given year. Right, now this year might be a little bit low, but if I have a database of 500 people, that means there are 30 potential sales in my database. Divided by 2, I get 50% of them. That's 15 deals right there. If those 500 people will refer me a deal, 10% of them, that's another 50 possible transactions just sitting in my database. So do you get why I'm like fired up and passionate about your command, about your database, right? Because I know that in this business, it all breaks down to numbers. It breaks down to how many people do I need to talk to get a lead, how many leads do I need to get a contract, and how many contracts do I need to get a closing. And if I know those numbers, you know what I do every morning? I just wake up and I run those numbers. And I get the outcome I want. There's no magic. It's all numbers, right? And I hate math, but I love those numbers, right? Cool. So any ahas from that? Yeah?
I don't have to work too hard to earn 100 grand.
Well, I wouldn't say it that way. I would say,
Houses, I guess I should.
right, I would say success is closer than you think. Right? It's still hard work. And trust me, to get to 12 isn't easy. Right? To get to 10 is not easy, particularly in the beginning. Right? Because you're at that point where, has anyone ever used one of those crank pumps to get water out of a well?
Yeah.
It doesn't immediately start flowing. Right? You got to prime that pump. You got to keep pushing it. And sometimes you're like, is there anything in this well? Right? But eventually the water starts spurting out. And when it starts coming, it actually is a little bit like, oh my gosh, there's water coming out of this thing. Right? Okay, that's your business right now. So you're going to get started, and I'll tell you what, you're going to feel like I'm just pumping this thing and nothing's happening. Keep at it. Because when it starts to come, it starts to come. We want to do that as quick as possible, right? But what happens is in the beginning, you feel like your wheels are just spinning, right? Once you catch traction, look out, right? But you have to, and then the other thing is people will work, they'll pump, water comes out, they go, whoo, I got business to stop working. Guess what happens when you stop pumping? Dries up, right? And so you have to continue, and that's the thing with this business is I've got to continue pumping to keep the water flowing, right? It doesn't start immediately, but if I keep doing that, it's going to keep flowing out. So, but yeah, it's not as far away as you think. It really, really isn't. It really, really isn't. Any other ahas?
Just that, what you just said. It's not as far away as I thought it was.
Awesome.
Like financial freedom, personally for me,
Yeah,
my small, to me, they're small goals.
yeah,
It's not far away.
absolutely, absolutely. Good. Any other ahas?
Yeah, I think you've given it a little more clarity for me identifying the metric or the purpose on where you're trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it a little clearer on what activities, how much you need to invest on a given day, given hour.
Yeah, yeah.
And so on. And you follow that process and get involved with that system. There's really no reason why you shouldn't get the results that you're looking for.
Yep. If you go to the gym every day and you do a mediocre workout, you're going to get into shape, right? If you go and you crush it every day, you're going to get into shape faster. The truth of the matter is showing up was 90% of it, right? Same thing in your real estate business. There'll be days where you're like, I'm on fire. Everything I touch turns to gold. There'll be days where you get in, you pick up the phone, you're like, oh my gosh, I hate my life. I hate everyone. I want to die, right? Just keep putting the effort in, right? It's not all the phone, right? Door knocking, going out, relationships. It's when you're at the soccer game and you just don't want to talk to any other human beings. Right? I have those days where I don't want to check my mail, right? Because there might be someone outside. It's getting up and going and checking the mail, right? It's talking to people. It's getting outside yourself. It's doing that little bit extra, right? Just one more, as Ed Millett would say. It makes all the difference, and it gets you here a lot faster. Wouldn't it be cool to get to those 10 deals in 5 months? Yeah, absolutely, it'd be cool, right? Because then everything else is cream, baby. Like, I want that, right? So you work for that, right? Our goal is not to need a deal in December. Our goal is not to need a deal in November. Our goal is to be done, to be done and have everything we needed to meet our goals by, let's say, September. If I had everything done by September and now I'm just pushing for the rest of the year, I'm doing the work to build and have, man, that's a lifestyle. So that's the goal. Work hard so that we can get to the goals as fast as possible. So we're going to continue on today and talking a little bit now about the core competencies of a realtor. And again, we're moving through this fast, and we're trying to get you through it so you get the information. But I want to say this, you don't do the goal of Ignite is not to just complete Ignite, right? And so Tyrone, you're coming through for a second time, right? That's okay, right? My goal is I'm going to see you guys in this class a couple times. I'm going to see you continuing to repeat it until you've mastered it, right? So we're moving through quick, but my expectation is you're going to be revisiting this material often. Okay, so the core competencies of a real estate business. What do you think number one is? It's right there on the board. Lead generate. Yes, yes. Without leads, there is no business. With leads, every problem is solved, right? It doesn't matter what the problem is in your real estate business. If you have too many leads, you can solve the problem. You know what leads are good for? They're for your business. You know what happens if you have too many leads? You sell them and you get more business. That's called a referral, right? So more leads, more leads, more leads. So lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. So it's not good enough to talk to a lot of people. You've got to get appointments. You know an easy way you get an appointment with everybody in your database right now? Hey, I'm really excited about my career with Keller Williams. Can I come by and just give you a home valuation? Oh, come on, we're not ready to sell. No, not that. It would do me a huge favor if I could just come by and do this for you. Boom, that's an appointment, right? Because it doesn't matter if they're looking to buy or sell at that moment. What did you just train them to think of? You selling real estate. Yeah, absolutely, right? And then when you call them next year or in 6 months and say, hey, it's time for your home valuation. It's time for me to give you your annual home valuation. That's your relationship. You're now their real estate advisor. Every single person in this room can do that right now today. Every person in this room could set 10 appointments today to go do that. And you know what you're also doing? You're doing what my buddy John Ray did. You're inviting them into your goals so they feel like they're part of your team, so that now when you succeed, they feel like they got to win. So now they're sending you business because they like winning with you, right? Every person could do that today. So set appointments. Present to buyers and sellers and get an agreement, right? This is really important. Presenting to sellers, getting listing agreements. We all are good with that in this industry. You want to make a habit of getting buyer agreements. One, it's where the industry is going. You're going to need to. Two, you are not a tour guide, right? I just love showing homes. No, you don't, right? You love selling homes. So get an agreement with your buyers so that you don't show them a home and find out that their cousin Louie sold it to them, right?
Or we go to like an open house.
Yep, absolutely.
The realtor there snags them up or something.
Yep. So you could, and this has happened, you'll spend a month with clients. You'll show them multiple homes. But your kid's birthday is that Saturday, and you know what? You love your family, so you can't show homes. They go to an open house, they walk in, the agent says, do you have a signed buyer agreement with anybody? And they say, oh no. And he goes, well, that's great, I'd love to write you up. And guess what? You just lost $11,000, right? And now you're thinking, I can't miss, now your kid's birthday comes up, and you're thinking, I've got to miss it because you're desperate. You know what stops you from being desperate? An agreement, right? That's the lifestyle you want to live, right? That's how we want to work with that. We want to show buyers and market sellers. We want to write, negotiate contracts, and we coordinate the sale to closing, and we manage the money. This is huge. Manage the money. Because when you get a check for 13 grand, it feels good. It feels good. And there's a little person in your head that goes, woo, let's go buy something, right? Manage the money. So we're going to do all those. This is what you do to run a real estate business, all right? Boom. So 6 core competencies: lead, generate, capture, and convert to appointments. We've talked about this a lot. We'll continue to talk about this a lot. What are ways you can lead generate?
I'll tell you how I lead generate.
Yep.
I do a lot of golf tournaments.
Love that.
So I actually play golf, and I also sponsor golf tournaments. And I'm putting on my first golf tournament in October for breast cancer awareness. And
Cool.
I've already made friends with actually the owner of Shamrocks. I don't know if you've been there or not.
No. Oh, yeah, I have. Yeah.
So I'm friends with him, and I've already been seeing these
Yeah.
same people over and over and over again. So now, whenever anything with real estate pops up, they think of
Yeah.
me.
Yep. It's golf tournaments. You're creating, and so what this is doing is this is building the database, right? You're creating relationships that are broader than the people you already know so that you can meet new people, right? And one of the things that we're constantly doing is adding people into the database. Because I can tell you, I think the number is like 1,000, or we have a number, I gotta look it up, that number equals a millionaire real estate agent business, right? Just like I know 201 plus contacts equals $100,000, we also have numbers all the way along. So we're constantly building. Good. What other ways you lead generate? Yeah. Yep.
Every time I meet someone, I already talk to someone I already do know.
Yep.
I started using the Ford. That way I can.
Yeah, go for it.
I thought that was a statement.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little bit creepy.
Right.
But yeah, I just try to use Ford whenever I talk to someone, just so that I build that relationship with them, and more likely than not, real estate always does come up because it's just part of a basis to who I am now.
Right.
Come up naturally, and now they associate me with real estate.
So Ford is good, but I just want to emphasize this. Talk to people, right? Like real estate success is a function of how many people you're in a relationship with, period. So talking to people, yeah, that's a way to prospect and lead generate. What other ways we can prospect, lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments?
So I drive for a Lyft and Uber,
Yeah,
and strangers get in my car. We have conversations. Really easy to get.
talk to people, right? So really, the key to this is talk to people, right? Yeah, and it's just finding the people to talk to. You know the people who are easiest to talk to? People who know you, right? Those are the easiest ones. You know what most real estate agents are the most scared to do? Talk to people who know you. Yeah, exactly. But that is the easiest way forward. Okay. 6 core competencies: present buyers and sellers and get agreements. We're going to be teaching you how to do this. You're going to be learning from some of our top agents. You're going to be working with a mentor who's going to help you to be fantastic at this. Show buyers and market sellers properties. Again, there are systems to this, right? And so you're going to work with a mentor who's going to walk you through and go through a showing with you. They're going to show you the home, and then you're going to show them the home, right? And you're going to get practice that. So we're not practicing on our clients, we're practicing with each other. And you guys might get together and go, hey, you want to go preview properties? And you're going to take turns. All right, let me show you this home, right? Because you're going to practice this. Same thing with marketing sellers. You're going to work with real estate agents in this office to do open houses. You're going to ask agents in this office, hey, can I market your listing? And you're going to advertise that on Facebook. Or you're going to call your database and say, hey, we've got a property listed for $1.2 million in Yorba Linda. It's a fantastic opportunity. Who do you know? And they're going to say, nobody, because I'm not rich. But you know what you just told them? I sell $1.2 million properties, right? So that's the thing. You're going to go through. So this is it. But you're going to get really good at this. 6 core competencies: writing and negotiate contracts. Right now, every single one of you is a member of the board, I hope. You can go to CAR, you can download, you can fill out those documents. Right now, you should be picking out properties on the internet and writing fake offers, writing fake listing agreements, writing fake offers and contracts and all those things because you want to know them really well, right? This is part of what you do. We'll work with your mentors to do that as well. We'll go through some of it in this class, but you can start now, so that the first time you see the contract is not an hour before you have the listing appointment, right? You want to be good at going through that because it's written in legalese. It's written by lawyers, right? And we don't speak that language. We do. You don't. But but learning how to communicate that is important. So and then coordinating the sale to close. This is huge. What makes you an excellent real estate agent is getting through the transaction with your clients in such a way that you get them to the end of it and they're smiling, right? And you know what? There are a lot of things that will challenge that. Right? For a seller, they're going to have a home inspection on their beautiful, perfect home and find out that it's got something rotting in the attic that they never knew about, right? You're going to have to walk them through that. And so pre-setting expectations, right? Going through and doing a preliminary inspection with them where you, with your expertise, can point out, like, that might be an issue. Or I've never seen a wooden patio cover that didn't have dry rot and termites in it. I never have. So I'm expecting to see that. I just want you to know that. Oh, no, we're not. I understand, but I've never seen it before. Right? I've never seen a wrought iron fence that didn't have rust on it. I've never seen a pool gate that closes the way it's supposed to. Right? These are things I've just never seen. Right? So just expect that. Oh, and so there are a lot of things that come up. I want you to look at your house over the next couple weeks, and I want you to pretend you don't live here and look around. Pre-setting expectations, right? With your buyers, they're going to get a home inspection that lists like 1,000 stupid things. And every single one of them is going to feel like the end of the world to your client, right? And you're going to say, no, that's actually an $11 purchase at Home Depot.
Yeah.
I can help you with that, right?
Like the covers for the bugs,
Like, yeah,
little things
absolutely.
like that,
Yeah, totally, totally. Or the lock on the window doesn't work.
Smoke detectors and
All of that stuff. You're going to get them through that sale. You're going to help them find vendors. You can't pick them, but you're going to give them a list of, here's 3 termite companies. Here's 3 home inspectors, right? And you're going to help them through that because what you're teaching them is, my agent has everything I need for the sale and for the care of my home. Because what you want to have happen is when they close and something doesn't work, they call you. Not, what the hell is going on? They call you and say, oh my gosh, the dryer broke. Who do you know, right? That's what you want. You want them to think of you as their real estate advisor. Cool. And then manage the money. Your checking account is not your business account. So what you need to do is you need to get a business account. You need a separate account that the money goes into. And in that account, you need to have reserves for taxes. You should be running some type of accounting software, whether that's something free like Mint or it's something that has a little more muscle behind it like QuickBooks. You're going to do a lot better if you stay on top of that stuff now than until you wait until April to find out how much money you didn't pay, and now you've got to pay the penalties on top of it. So managing the money is important. As an independent contractor, you have no withholding, so you have to do the withholding. The best bet is to set up and just pay taxes as you go. You get a check, calculate your percentage, and send it to the IRS, right? Send it ahead of time, so at the end of the year, you know what you get? A rebate, not a penalty, right? So manage your money. So any ahas from 6 core competencies? All right, I know, I'm exciting. I know you guys are like riveted to the edge of your seats right now. Okay, to achieve your highest potential, these 6 core competencies must be done consistently and done well. Right now, I would say the majority of the real estate market is down. The market itself is down, something like 48%. I look at real estate agents who had phenomenal years in 2022, or pardon me, 2020, 2021, and they're down, some of them 60%. The reason they're down is when the market was up, they thought they were magical, right? And so they stopped doing the 6 core competencies. They didn't lead generate. I asked them, where does your business come from? They said, oh, social media. I said, tell me about that. Well, I know a lot of people, I post a lot. That's not a model. And you can't apply pressure to that model, right? Now, can you make a lot of money using social media? Yeah, but you have to be able to run a model. You have to be able to test the metrics on it. The key to being successful in every market is to focus on the key competencies in every market. So when business is good, you continue to lead generate, right? When business is bad, you continue to lead generate, right? You continue to set appointments. You find reasons to get in front of people. Cool. All right. Functionary versus fiduciary. Real quick, talk amongst yourselves. I would like you all been through the real estate class. What is the difference between functionary and fiduciary? Talk to someone and tell them. On your mark, get set, go. What is the difference? Anybody want to throw out?
What you said in the beginning, like accountability versus non-accountability.
Okay, a fiduciary is more accountable. Okay. What else? Yeah.
We talked about how functionary is the bare minimum,
Mm-hmm.
where you're doing things that work, but fiduciary is going a step beyond that, where you would develop that trust, where, functionary, they would be like, okay, it works working with them, but maybe we're going to go with someone else, where fiduciary, you're like, every time they think of real estate, they keep coming back to you.
Okay. Anybody else? Good. So here's what Gary Keller says in The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. A functionary is one who is in a specific task relationship with their clients. They do the job. A fiduciary is one who not only does the tasks of the job, they're also in a high trust relationship with their clients and feel total responsibility for the outcome. Does that make sense? The way I like to say it is, as a fiduciary, your goals are my goals, right? So when I'm working with a client to sell their home, that is my goal. There is their goal, right? It's their outcome. It's not mine. And so that may mean I go into a listing appointment with a client, and it's not the best decision for them. I'm going to tell them that, right? Because I'm a fiduciary. I'm not a functionary, right? It may mean that I go into a sale and I've got to do things to save it because I'm their fiduciary, right? Their goals are my goals, right? Oh, yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, go ahead, slide the chair because the lock on the thing's broken. So, good. A fiduciary places their client's interest ahead of all others, even their own. Even their own. So, win-win or no deal. If the transaction does not benefit the client, there is no deal, right? We never, ever push a client to transact a sale that does not benefit them. And that's a great way, A, to get in a lawsuit, and B, to have a very short career, right? So we are a fiduciary. It's a big deal. It's an honor. It's more important than ever in today's market because people are making real choices. So for instance, if I'm working with a couple who is looking to get into a home, and they're in the lease right now, and they're scared about getting into the home mortgage because it's a little expensive. My goal then is to walk them through all of the outcomes. So and how does that work? Well, you're right, it is expensive. It's going to be a stretch right now. Can you afford it? It's number one question. Yes, we can, but we're going to have to sacrifice other areas. I totally understand that. Let me ask you this. Do you think your lease is going up next year? Yeah, it absolutely is, right? Will your income go up next year? Yeah, probably. We're just starting our career out. Okay, so the stretch for your mortgage is going to be less next year than it is this year? Yes. But if you stay in the lease, is it going to be the same percentage of your income? Yes, because it's going to your lease is going to go up with your income every year. Will the mortgage go up with your income every year? No. So long term, what's the decision you need to make for your family? Probably need to get in that mortgage, right? Yeah. So I know it's scary right now. I know that's a stretch for you right now. But if we can make the stretch for a year, maybe 2 years, in 3 years income grows, your equity has grown, you've built something. If you stay in that lease for the next 3 years, have you built anything and has it become less of a stretch? No. Right? That's a fiduciary. It's not just saying, you're right, it is a stretch, all right, thanks, right? Because that's not fiduciary. Right? So sometimes fiduciary, it feels like selling, right? That's a sales script, but it only works if it's true, right? It only works if it's authentic. It only works if I'm actually looking out for their interests. And so we're going to help you learn some dialogues that are going to help people make the right decisions. But we never ever want to have somebody make a decision that's for us, not for them, right? So fiduciary versus functionary. Be a fiduciary. Okay. All right, so I want you to break into groups, and I'm going to assign you one of the first 5 core competencies, and I'm going to ask you to brainstorm on ways that you can serve as a fiduciary for your core competency, right? So how can you be a fiduciary when you're lead generating, capturing and converting to appointments, How can you be a fiduciary when you're presenting to buyers and sellers? How can you be a fiduciary when you're showing buyers and marketing sellers? And how can you be a fiduciary when you're writing, negotiating contracts? And how can you be a fiduciary when you're coordinating sale to close? So I want you guys break into 5 groups. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people here. 12 divided by 5 is what, like 2, let's say, ish? Yeah? So why don't you guys get into 5 groups? Go. Somehow. One, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Yeah,
One would be free though.
that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be a stickler. So yeah. All right, good deal. All right, so you guys, front row, you're going to be core competency number 1. Do you guys have your core competencies there? Look in your booklets. They're in there. So number 1, lead generate. You guys are going to be number 2, present buyers and seller agreements. You're number 3, show buyers and market sellers. In the back there, number 4, write, negotiate contracts. And then up here, you're going to be coordinate the sale to close. All right? How can you be a fiduciary doing those things? All right. All right, guys, come on back. Come on back. So, let's talk about it. What do you guys come up with when you're lead generating or capturing and converting to appointments? How can you be a fiduciary when you do that?
So we came up with being educational based, really providing a value when you're lead generating because they don't know you.
Yeah.
So really just trying to educate them, let them know about programs they don't know. Because people think that they can't do the home ownership thing. They think they can't because it's out of their reach. But there's so many programs, so many avenues. Just being there and letting them know that, hey, I'm going to help you every step of the way. Whatever you need, I can keep you on track, check in with you.
Mm-hmm.
Just being there educational first.
Yeah.
I think that goes a long way in lead generating to build trust and
Sure. Cool. Educating clients. So that's it. Come from contribution, right? So good. What else? Anything else? That was it. Okay. One other thing I would say too is curiosity, right? If I am being a fiduciary, I'm going to be curious. So if someone calls me and they say, hey, we'd like you to come do a CMA for us, or I'm doing my lead generation, and they say, yeah, we're thinking about selling. Why? Well, I think that the prices are right, and da-da-da-da. Okay, awesome. And if you made, how much money do you think you make on your home? Like, okay, what would that do for you? Right? Why? There's always a reason behind. And if I don't know their why, I can't be a fiduciary. We want to buy a house. Yeah, tell me about that. Well, we're expecting a baby in April. It's a big why, right? And how would buying a home help you guys? Right now we're in a one-bedroom apartment. Okay. Yeah, so this isn't a want, this is kind of a need. All right. Now I can be your fiduciary, right? Now when we're showing homes and it's a little bit of a stretch and husband starts to get scared, or I can say, all right, but remind me about why we're doing this, right? Go back to that why. I can be your fiduciary. Otherwise, I'm just a functionary, right? So always being curious, what's the motivation, what's going on, what's the why? But again, education's great, coming from contribution, right? Letting them know that you're not just interested in the check, but you're interested in their outcome. So you're right, calling people, maybe you're going through your list of buyers you had from a year ago who can't afford, and now you've got that program, the California program with the down payments, and you're calling them and saying, hey, did you know that there's this program that's going to give you a down payment? How would that change your situation, right? Yeah, that's a fiduciary, right? And if you've been working in lead generating and you heard about that program, your light bulb should have gone off, right? That kind of thing. Yeah, totally. Cool. All right. How can we be a fiduciary when we're presenting to buyers and sellers and getting agreements? We're getting listing contracts and buyer agreements.
Really would like to ditto everything that you said.
Well, thanks. Yeah. Go. Yeah.
We took it from the aspect of the seller
Yeah.
and trying to, buy their try to win their confidence, and it was to be honest, put enough information out in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first find out their why they're selling, because that's going to
Yeah.
determine a lot of the factors. But giving them information, factual information, not what the neighbors are talking about, whether they want to see it or not, showing them what has sold in the past several months, showing them what's going on specifically in their neighborhood and not on the other side of town,
Yeah.
and putting enough of that in front of them to whereas the decision has already been made about maybe we're going to list the house.
Right. Yeah.
And what the plan is, really what the plan is on the timeline. This is what you can expect in a week.
Yeah.
And maybe in 2 weeks, we're going to get a little more traffic and so forth, to whereas maybe we need to look at the listing price again.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can, get their confidence agreement, this is the roadmap and
Yeah.
these are the expectations.
Yeah.
And
What I'm hearing is walking them through the transaction the way you would want to be, right? So making sure that they're not going into the transaction with blinders on, that they know what to expect, so they're not walking down a dark hallway, right? Making sure that they've got the relevant information, not the easy information. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very good. Love it. Cool. All right, what about showing buyers and marketing sellers in the back row?
So we started off with asking them what their goals would be,
Yeah.
for the buyers and always being honest, being open with them so that they can trust you. So kind of treating them as if you were buying the home yourself. So walking in and almost like when you got in this right now, like when I asked you that question, you said like if you see a leak, point it out. Like don't just push it under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I said was like try not to be like, I guess for lack of a better term, be that car salesman that hits the hood, like slaps it.
Yeah.
Like this bad boy is gonna be this and that, and you're like I don't like that, and then they do that for every single car.
Right.
Be more so like treat everything on a case by case basis, treat it fair. Don't try to sell them something they don't want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. Show them homes that would actually serve them. That just and that's a challenge sometimes, because sometimes you've got clients who what they want they can't have, right? And so you have to be able to say, here's what you can afford, right? But if we can go a little bit higher, here's this. So I want to, so how am I positioning that? How am I going through that, right? But it's always looking at what their need is, right? We want a safe neighborhood, very safe neighborhood. Don't mind the gunfire, right? Like that's, right, those kind of things, like being the fiduciary so that you're putting yourself in their position that if, and it's hard, right? Because there's sometimes I've shown homes to clients that they're very excited about in neighborhoods I would never live in, right? Happens all the time. I have to understand their goals and what's the best for them, right? So I'm not going to say, well, this is a terrible neighborhood. I'm going to say, okay, well, just want you to understand, or you need to know, or what's the most important factor to you, right? Those kind of things. So yeah, making sure that you are putting their interests first. Cool. Writing and negotiating contracts. In the back. All right, Katie.
That's probably the toughest part, I think, is helping them understand the contracts, being willing to say, if they don't understand what I'm saying, trying to explain what it is about, or they're looking at it, it's been sent to, these contracts have been sent to them electronically, they don't understand it. If I'm not able to explain it to them, or they don't understand what I'm saying, I can always have my broker, help out.
Yeah.
And try to explain it to them. Just being on their side,
Going through and honestly explaining what the contract is asking.
Yeah, absolutely. So you might, for instance, if you're going on a listing appointment, you might send a pre-listing package that has a blank contract and saying, hey, I want you to review this before I get there. If you have any questions, just highlight them. We'll go through all of that, right? And then you're going to go through it and you're going to say, okay, good. I'm going to get this all set up on DocuSign and I'm going to have it sent to you. Or fill it out right there. Right? You can do that. But it's giving them the opportunity to process the information, right? It's slowing down and saying, oh yeah, that's boilerplate. That's not a big deal. Don't do that, right? If they have a question, you go, okay, well, that's what this is. We walk through it, right? Because, again, this is a legal document, right? And there have been people who got in a lot of trouble for not explaining legal documents, right? So it's taking that time with them to go through it. It's being honest about the fact that commission isn't set, right? Well, my commission is set, but there's no law, right? And so if they ask you, well, I get 3%, or I get 6%, I do 6% listings, and they say, well, we're only willing to do 5%. To be able to say, all right, here's why I get 6%, right? Not you have to because this is standard, right? Now you can tell them if you list your home and you don't offer enough commission to the other side, that might affect you negatively. That's being their fiduciary, right? But it's also representing the truth, right? So these things are absolutely part of us. So yeah, cool. And then coordinating the sale to closing. How to be the fiduciary doing that?
Okay, so we all agree with open communication. So basically, kind of like the same with going through contracts and stuff. I mean, there's so much that goes into closing through escrow, inspections, contingencies, all that.
Right.
So just explain to them every step of the way of if they need an inspection and what happens and during the inspection, and I'll be there I always go when the inspector goes.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and I take notes, and hey, this is what they found, or this is good, and just like that, and then staying on top of title and escrow, because sometimes I've dealt with some lenders or people in that field that are I don't know, they just get lazy, or they
Right.
closed last week, and, or just stuff like that. So staying on top of them as well, and letting your clients know what's going on, and, just basically keeping them in the loop.
Yeah.
There's just a lot that goes on.
A lot of communication. It's a system too, right? It's when we get in the transaction, I've got my checklist so I don't miss anything, right? That's a way I can be a fiduciary. I've got my system so that we don't get to, the week before close and we never ask for a release of contingencies, right? Because I have a checklist that I go through that, and that makes me make sure that I'm doing that. But communication, it's never going into autopilot, right? It's always making sure we're actively protecting their interests. So showing up for the inspections, right? Showing up for showings is something you can do, right? And it's something listing agents don't typically do. But if you have a unique property that needs a story, show up for those showings, right? Yeah, absolutely. The sixth core competency is managing the money. And this is where you need to be your own fiduciary. Now, I'm going to say this also helps you be a better fiduciary to your clients. Because if you manage your money, you're not desperate. And if you're not desperate, then you're not tempted to make bad decisions, right? So managing your money is important. So how you can do that? In addition to giving validity, managing your money leads to financial security. Financial security provides the freedom to be discerning about which real estate transactions you become involved in or not. If you've managed your money well and you have a client who's just a nightmare, you can fire them, right? If you don't, and you don't know how you're going to make your next payment, then you'll work for anybody, right? So managing your money is important. There might be times you choose to decline a deal because it doesn't allow you to remain with high integrity, right? And that's truth. So managing the money gives you security to make the right choices when you need to. Cool. All right. We're going to move through into success systems. And this is where I wanted to be. We're actually landing the plane on time, which I love. Nothing else about your business will have as big of an impact on it as the number of leads you have, period, right? Leads are so lucrative, there are now companies that are designed to get leads to sell them to real estate agents, right? That's how you know how important they are. The truth is, though, those companies can't sell you those leads if you're getting them yourself. The truth of the matter is, every company that does online lead generation, those people they're getting the leads from are in someone's database. They're just selling them back to you, right? So if you're working in your database and you're being strong in that, no one can take that and sell it back to you. So again, accountable people achieve results others can only dream of. You're going to be a team. You're going to play together. You're going to hold each other accountable to those goals you talked about in the beginning, to that in a year from now I'm going to get here, to your daily success systems. We're going to hold each other accountable to that because this has the power to have the greatest impact in your life will be the success systems that we do. You could do nothing in Ignite. You could show up to none of the classes and just do the success systems and it would still have a tremendous impact on your business. You might not be able to handle it, but you would generate business. Right? And so what I want you to do is choose an accountability partner from the room. I know, we just met these people. They're weirdos. Look around. Pick someone that you think you're not going to kill. No. And someone that you think that would be a good fit for you or whatever. I don't even care if they're a good fit. Just someone who's breathing, who can fog a mirror. Right? Follow, and then what you're going to do is you're going to set some parameters. This accountability partner is a safe place to share. They're going to help you follow through with your action items. They're going to listen and pay attention while other people share. You're going to have those conversations. You're going to set a frequency of checking in with each other, right? You're going to dig deep to find out why you do the things you do. You respect each other in the process. You're going to create a commitment and stick to it. You're going to be open to receiving feedback. You're going to give specific feedback. You're going to have each other's best interests in mind. So you might role play together on a regular basis with your partner. You might say, hey, we're going to meet here in the Market Center every day at 8:45. We're going to practice calling each other, right? We're going to role play together. And then you're going to sit there and I'm going to sit here and we're going to make our calls, right? And that's how we're going to do it. Or I'm going to get on a Zoom with you. I'm going to make my calls from where I am and you're going to make calls from where you are. And I'm going to give you feedback on your calls. You're going to give me feedback on my calls. But you're going to make yours. I'm going to make mine. And we're going to do it together. We're going to make sure we both win, right? This is an incredibly powerful relationship. So you're going to choose that partner. Good. So what I want you to do is go ahead and it can be a group of 2 or 3. It doesn't have to be the person sitting next to you. Right? So get up, talk to each other. I'm going to give you like 5 minutes to talk to each other. All right, on your mark, get set. Pick an accountability partner. You can be 2 or 3, because we don't have, yeah. I know, nobody's moving around. It'd be weird if you're like, no. Yeah, okay. All right, so by the power of you sat next to each other, it looks like most of your accountability partners. All right, if you would please exchange name and phone number. And if you're like, I don't want to give them my phone number, your phone number is going to be on your business card. Everybody in the world is going to have your phone number. So, all right. If you have your business card, you can do that, yeah. If you have your command app, on your command app, you can actually do a QR code. So if you've set up your command, you can go, here's my business card, and they can just scan it, right? Boom, right there. If you have your command app. And that you find that by tapping your face, and it shows you how to do that. If you set up your command app. Just tap your face, boom, and my business card, boom. So, if you've set up command. If you haven't set that up yet, or if you haven't downloaded it yet and logged in, okay. If you've set up the command app on command, this is a pretty cool feature. Boom, go here, tap my face, and then my business card.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. And it gives you all that data. Cool. All right. Now, there are companies who will sell you that QR code, like, oh, we use our product, and we'll give you, you get it as part of your command app.
Yeah.
So, okay. Cool. All right, you guys have that done? Good. Now, here's what you are committed to holding each other accountable for.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Yeah.
do you need more time? I'll give you 30 more seconds, and then we're moving on, because I'm a little over.
Yeah.
Do 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 do
Yeah.
do 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 do. Bum, 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 bum. All right, guys, come on back. You'll have a little more time to do this in a second, but let's get through to the success system. So, I feel like I'm like the oldest man in the room, and I could have done this faster. So, good. I'm not, maybe. Okay, so, all right, I need you back. I need you back. Shh, come on back. So here are the success systems. You've got this in your booklets, your success tracker. What you're going to commit to over the next 6 weeks, and actually for the rest of your life, is you're going to be doing 10 conversations a day. So out of those 10 conversations, you would like 10 opportunities to talk about real estate with someone. But you're going to be making 10 conversations with people in your database or in the world who have the opportunity to buy or sell real estate with you. So I would like to say right now, the people in this room don't count, right? Unless they're not doing their conversations. And if they are, go ahead and get their information. They will need a realtor, right? Make sense? If you're not going to do it, you're not going to be in this business. So the people in the room don't count unless they're not doing it. If your accountability partner is not doing it, go ahead and try to sell them a home because they're going to need you, right? Good. Now, so 10 conversations a day. You're going to do 10 contacts added to your database a day. Now, you could just go, oh, I've got 1,000 contacts on my phone. I could do this forever. Import all your contacts at one, and then stretch yourself to add contacts. Where can I find contacts? People in your neighborhood. Those are contacts. People you go to church with. Those are your contacts. People you work with. Those are contacts. The people at Starbucks you see every day when you go because you have a habit that's draining your bank account. Right? Those are contacts, right? If you're involved in sports, those are contacts, right? People you went to college with that are friends on Facebook, potential contacts, right? Anyone breathing that you encounter is a potential contact. You're going to add 10 a day because you need to get to at least 200 as fast as possible. Most of us can do that right now. But the more contacts, the more opportunities, right? I would say you should be shooting for a goal of a minimum of 500 contacts who would recognize you in the supermarket if they ran into you, right? And that's the way I like to that's where I personally, the way I judge a contact. A contact that is someone who recognized me in the supermarket, who would either talk to me or avoid me, that's a real person, right? That's somebody that is a real contact in my database. Somebody I see that I'm either going to be excited to talk to or be like, I don't have time, is a real contact, right? So that's where we want to get to. Am I adding contacts to my database every day? We're going to teach you how to bring them through that funnel. Then you're going to write 10 handwritten notes a day. That's incredibly powerful nowadays, right? 10 things you stick in the mail. The mail. It's like the Pony Express, right? But you're going to write those down. And a handwritten note can be anything. It could be happy birthday. It could be, hey, just thinking of you. It could be whatever. It could be, hey, I just started a new career, whatever. But 10 handwritten notes a day. And then you're going to do our 10-5-1 social media engagement. God bless you. And then you're going to do some enrichments. Let's get into that. Truth of the matter is, if you're not measuring it, you cannot improve it. And so as you're going through your calls, your contacts, what I want you to keep track of is, how many people do I need to talk to before somebody says, yeah, I know a guy thinking about buying or selling real estate. Here's his information, right? So that's an important number. It seems to me from the last class and what I've seen is that number varies from 10 to 20. 10 to 20 conversations to a lead is typically what I'm finding, right? Now, that's an important number. How many leads to a contract is another important number. Now, I will tell you what a lead is. A lead is someone that you have the information on and permission to contact, right? I have a friend who's thinking about buying a house. Awesome, that's so cool. Well, I'd love to get in touch with him. Yeah, let me talk to him first. Not a lead, right? A lead is, yeah, here's his number. A lead is, here's a better thing. Oh yeah, I got a friend who's thinking about buying a house actually right now. Good deal. Do me a favor. Text them right now and me, and could you send them an introduction right now? Then they don't have to give you the information. It's weird. We're comfortable with that. But if I say, give me his phone number, they'd be like, oh, you're a psycho, right? But if I text us both, he just gave me the phone number, and they facilitate. Does that make sense? That's a lead, right? That's what we want to get to. All right. Measure, and you can improve it. Once you know how many people you need to talk to get the lead, then what do you have to do every day? Talk to those people. How many leads do I need to get to a contract? Then I know how many people I need to talk to get to a contract, right? It's real simple at that point. And then if I need, 3 contracts a month, buyer agreement or listing agreement, if I need 3 of those to close one a month, or I need 4 of those to close once a month, I just back engineer it, and that's the amount of people I need to talk to, right? So how would I talk to them? Here's the conversation we're going to have today. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Ford. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. This is a framework for conversation that you can use in any area of your life. I have a good friend. He's a priest who has a podcast that's the largest podcast in the world. It's a Bible in a Year podcast. His name's Father Mike Schmitz. Really cool guy. I've worked with him a couple speaking things. First time we actually ever hung out was I invited him to come speak at something I was running. And I would pick him up from the airport, take him to the hotel. I'd pick him up at the hotel, bring him to the venue. We just spent a lot of time together over the course of the week. I realized that he was an incredible connector. I also realized very quickly he Forded me almost every single day, right? Because naturally he's kind of a shy person. And so he learned that in order to facilitate the relationships he needed to, the easiest way to do that was family, occupation, recreation, dreams, right? And by the end of the week, hanging out together, he knew people that I'd known for 13 years better than I did because he just went back to family, occupation, recreation, dreams. I'd have people I knew forever, they'd walk up to say hi, and I'd be like, oh, hey, this is my friend. He goes, oh, I know. And then your sister's that person, and then he just married that. He knew their whole life story because his family, occupation, recreation, dreamed them, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to call the people in your database, people in your phone right now who know you. And you're going to say, hey, what's going on? And they're going to say, what do you mean? I haven't talked to you in a while. Now, your negative talk is going to be, oh, I can't call that person. I haven't talked to them in 3 years. It's going to be weird. You're right. Get over it. You're going to talk to them, and you're going to forward. And you're going to say, I haven't talked to you in 3 years. Oh my gosh, how did that happen? That's on me. How's your family? Right? Guess what? It's not weird. The next time you call them. Because you just reestablished the relationship. You're going to say, hey, what's going on? Are you still working at wherever? And they're going to say, no, oh my gosh, no, I got a new job. I'm here, I'm there, da-da-da. And you're going to say, oh, that's cool. And they're going to say, what are you doing? And you say, well, I'm really excited about my real estate career. I just joined the largest real estate company in the world, right? And boom, now we're talking about real estate, right? Now, here's what you're not going to do. You're not going to go down the list like you're like, please tell me about your family. Good, and how are things at work? Awesome. What do you do in your free time, right? Like you're just going to have a natural conversation using this framework. Does that make sense? Today, I don't want to put a lot of pressure on you to say, hey, who do you know is thinking about buying or selling? I just want you to focus on reconnecting. Make sense? Cool. Here's what we're going to do. I want you to break into groups of 3, and I want you to practice calling people and doing this. So anybody want to real quick do this with me?
I'll do it.
Okay, cool. Come on up. Let's go. Good.
My phone?
No, I'm just going to ring. You know.
Oh,
All right.
oh.
All right.
Do I come up?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sure.
All right. Remind me how to say your name.
Noreen.
Noreen. Okay, good. Okay, good. Good. Cool. So ring, ring. You're answering.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Hey, Noreen, it's Chris Mueller. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I can't believe that I haven't talked to you in like 2 years. How did that happen?
I don't know. You just never call me.
Well, you never called me either. So I think there's okay. Yeah. Okay.
Hold
Good.
on.
But okay, does that make sense? Because everybody you haven't talked to in 2 years, guess what? They didn't call you either, right? That's okay. Well, hey, I just wanted to touch base. You were on my mind. How's everything going?
Yeah, that's really nice of you to call. Everything's going really good, actually. And I just started a new job. My kids are in high school now, and
Wait, hold on. Your kids are in high school?
yeah,
That is unbelievable.
I know.
Wow, that is so weird. Okay, so how are you dealing with that? Because that is really weird.
It's great because they drive themselves to school, and I don't have to worry about them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's nice. What, are they doing any activities, any sports, or?
Yeah, actually, my son is in volleyball, and my daughter just got accepted to Cal Baptist University. So
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, one of my agents, her husband is a dean at Cal Baptist. I would love to connect you guys.
oh yeah, that would actually be great.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, you know, I just wanted to touch base. I hate that we've drifted.
Yeah, it was really nice to talk to you.
Awesome. Well, hey, do you mind if I'm just going to make an effort to stay in touch on a more regular basis. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I don't want to take up a ton of your time. Just want to say hello. You were on my heart. And
Aw, well,
all
thank
right.
you, Chris.
Hopefully we'll have a chance to connect again soon.
Definitely. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Good deal. All right. Bye-bye.
Do you really have someone, a dean at Cal Baptist?
Yeah, Suzanne.
Oh. My daughter really got accepted there.
Suzanne Hove, her husband's, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
Duh, yeah, you work for her. Okay, yeah.
That's
pretty off.
go that smooth.
If they're calling people you know, why wouldn't they?
Pretty decent.
Yeah.
When you said that about calling and just reconnecting, back in October, my phone rang from a lady I haven't talked to in, I don't know, 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to answer it, and I thought, oh, well, we have mutual friends.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I should. So I answered it, and she's like, hi, Christy, it's Stella. And I'm like, how are you? And she's like, good, just haven't talked to you in a long time. Was thinking about you. I don't know if she sells real estate now, or what in the world she's selling, but
Yeah.
now it's like, oh.
Yeah.
So,
You know, I've got a
she
buddy-
didn't tell me what she was selling.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for that second call now, apparently.
Maybe. I mean, I have a buddy who that's just what he does. I mean, and he'll just be at prayer and he just like calls people, right? Whoever comes to his mind, he calls them, right? And it's unbelievable. But I mean, so this is, okay, let me put it this way. There are people in your life who you admire because they remember your anniversary, they remember your birthday, they send your kids birthday cards. Like, you don't even remember their birthdays, but they do. You know what I mean? They're cheating. They've got a system. They take notes, right? And they just pick up their phone and call. Some people, and I'm not one of them, don't like to drive in the car for long distances without calling somebody. So they just call people, right? Me, I'll put a podcast on, and I'm like, forget about the world, right? Our goal is to be the kind of friend that we admire, right? The kind of friend where they seem like they're magical. The only way I'm going to do that is if I cheat and I set up a schedule, right? So like I sent my sister a text message yesterday. It's happy birthday. I think it's the first time I've ever done that in my life. Now she's like 16 years older than me, and I'm not. But you know why I did it? Because I put her birthday on my calendar, right? That's why. Because now I know when it is. I've got 7 siblings or 6 siblings, right? I'm one of 7 people. I don't know any of their birthdays off the top of my head. I barely know my birthday. But if I set up a system, I can do that. Does that make sense? Like, and that's my sister-in-law, and again, my whole family. None of us say happy birthday to each other. We love each other deeply. We don't track those things, right? My sister-in-law, She sends a card for everybody's birthday. Oh my gosh, she sends like happy anniversary cards. She sends the kids stuff. She's magical. But I also have seen her calendar. She's cheating, right? There's a system, right? That's how you do it. And so Ford just is allowing you entry into what some people do intuitively, right? Well, I'm not that person, so I need to cheat. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Texting frowned upon versus
Texting is fine. So here's Chris's rule of reward. High risk, high reward. Low risk, low reward. So what are we most consciously protecting? Our pride. And so if my pride has a high risk, then I have a high opportunity of reward. If it has a low risk, I have a low opportunity of reward. So texting is not bad. If I can't get a hold of you via phone call, then I'm going to text. But if no one has the opportunity to reject me, then no one had the opportunity to work with me, right? And so the phone call, and again, in our culture, real human connection is missing. And so what you have the opportunity to do is give people something they're really hungry for, but they don't realize it. Just think about the human condition, and I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here. I was in Costco the other day, and it was a madhouse. It was Sunday. Never go to Costco on Sunday, right? It's like a bazaar. I mean, like it's amazing how many people I touched and how few I talked to. That sounds super creepy, right? But people. It's very odd.
Wow,
But people are bumping into you the whole time. You're moving around. You know, you're this, that. But we don't talk to each other. That's so foreign to the human experience, right? It used to be you went down to the market and you knew the owner of the market. As a kid, I bought gas at Tony's Mobile. We knew Tony. I never paid for it. I always just signed for it, right? Because Tony knew my family and they saw him at church, right? Because we were part of a community. How many people have that in their lives now? Nobody. I mean, I actively go out of my way. Like, I know my barber, I know my mechanic, I know the guy. Like, I try to do those things because I want that, but it's foreign. So what I have the opportunity to do is I have the opportunity to give people something that's natural to the human experience that we're all missing, that we think we have because we're eating junk food, social media, and basically it's not making us any happier or healthier, it's just making us unhappy. So we can bring what people need, which is authentic connection, right? So, I mean, that's kind of my mindset on this, right? And I'm out of habit, right? But that's what we can do. 10 people a day. So today we're just going to Ford them. So what I want you to do, make sure I'm not missing anything. Bump-a-doo. Okay, start with your sphere, people who know you. If you don't have your database in command, use your phone. Talk to 10 people today. So I want you to spend the next 10 minutes doing a little role play with each other, right? And then I want you to spend the next hour, and I know, well, we're done at 12. You got to do 10 contacts today. So I want you to do as much time as you need to get your 10 contacts. I want you to make your 10 contacts. I want you to complete your success systems, all right? Good?
Do they count if you call contact and they don't answer?
Nope.
Okay.
Conversations.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Now, if you call somebody they don't answer, what should you do?
Text them?
Text them. Absolutely. Should you leave a voicemail? You can. People think it's weird now. It's strange. I like voicemails. I talk to that machine. Nobody listens. Nobody listens when they read them, right? But that's fine. But follow up with a text message, right? Hey, it was blah, blah, just reached it. Because sometimes people call you and there's that friend from 5 years ago and you're like, and they're going to try to sell me something. And they just call and say, hey, you're on my mind, just thinking about you. You know, blah, blah, blah. And you might get a text back, very polite back. And then you can say, hey, when can we grab coffee sometime? Appointment, right? Yes?
So would you call people out of state?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
because I've done that and actually referred them to a realtor in their state.
Yeah,
And then got a realtor.
And they can refer you to someone if someone's moving out of state.
totally. Particularly if they're people from here who moved out of state. They still know people who are here. And they're telling them that Tennessee's amazing, right? And they might have some people getting ready to move there, right? So that's, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Referral income's wonderful. Cool. Good deal. Well, okay, 10 minutes role play. On your mark, get set. Find somebody and go. Or accountability partner, whatever, go. Okay, good, yeah.